Zhang is President and Chief Economist at the Pinpoint Asset Management Group.
I think the overall economic situation improved a little bit recently. I think that's consistent with many other economic indicators we track on the ground. On top of that, I also think the regulatory requirement, the regulatory environment has improved for the tech companies. This applies to Meituan and Didi, but it also applies to the overall tech space and the general business environment. So a lot of these companies are doing better quarter on quarter, and we've seen the similar kind of improvement for some other companies as well.
Mm-hmm. So they're benefiting from the regulatory environment. With a 5% rise in quarterly revenue and 10.6% increase in transactions, how much of Didi's growth is tied to recovery in the travel sector within China versus international markets?
Yeah, that's one trend that's happening in China, is that people are traveling more in domestic cities and less overseas. And we've seen this trend in the past few years. And actually, after reopening post-COVID, people have been traveling particularly to lower tier cities. So we've seen a boom in domestic tourism. That's also consistent with the data from government on domestic travel and spending data as well.
And how are these companies navigating a somewhat sluggish domestic economy? Are they adapting their strategies to address more challenging consumer spending in China?
I think so. I think many companies are, following a similar strategy and catering this development in the consumer space. And Meituan, I think they moved pretty aggressively to offer discounts to the customers in terms of the delivery, the food delivery business, and it worked quite well. I think that applies to other e-platforms that. E-commerce platforms and some other companies also reported good earnings. And Didi, I think on that front is in a very competitive space in terms of this online taxi business. We've seen prices becoming very competitive across the different providers.
And what do you see as the key risks and opportunities on the horizon for investors in Meituan and Didi as they continue their expansion?
I think business-wise, they're doing all right. I think in the financial market, though, they are, I think at this moment, because of this looming trade war concern between the U.S. and China, a lot of investors are kind of in a wait-and-see mode and could potentially respond to news flows in potential tariff getting imposed. So that kind of a macro risk that investors are quite concerned about. I think in the next maybe a few months, that continue to be a risk for these stocks. But specifically about the business, I think these companies are actually doing quite well.